I was actually in the middle of editing another video when I just looked at it and went, nope, nope, I don't like this isn't good, and I'm gonna go start something else instead. I've been brainstorming ideas for future videos for a really long time now, and each topic has an unfinished draft or script already attached to it. It goes up onto a digital bulletin board because the physical one wouldn't stop falling off the command hooks. I won't lie, a lot of these stories are deeply emotional for me, and they include tales of my pain and suffering. Mostly because somehow that's what my audience wants, because you guys are a bunch of Satans. One of the topics that I put up on the board was learning Tagalog, which I will very confidently place in the tales of pain and suffering category. I truly wish that this could be a silly or funny story, but it was a source of deep-rooted trauma for me. Hopefully I get this video out before Filipino American History Month ends, so at least it's a little bit relevant, but I'll still start from the beginning. Both my mom and dad spoke Tagalog to me growing up, and I could mostly understand what they said. Learning new languages was always a means to build relationships with even more people. When I was a little kid, my grandparents came to visit us from the Philippines. I have a very vivid memory of trying to talk to my lolo, but the language barrier stopped us from having even the simplest of conversations. And I felt really bad. He came all this way to be with us and spend time with us, but I couldn't even speak with him. My lola, who was a teacher before she retired, came all the way from the Philippines, and she had Tagalog books for kids and flashcards. She'd spend several hours a day with me almost every day of her stay in the United States, teaching me different words. And I had to get used to the different shapes my mouth would need to make to say Tagalog words. To this day, I will state that she is the only one who gets to make fun of me for not speaking Tagalog. She's the only one who sat down with me for hours and made a true effort to teach me. The only one who ever attempted to get Tagalog into my system and never made fun of me for asking what certain words meant. I was in the Philippines on and off until I started high school at 13. I could understand and read most Tagalog, but my skill in constructing my own sentences was not advanced enough for me to go to regular classes. In high school, I spent most of the day with all the regular students, but I was enrolled into a few more classes with other foreign students, just so we can learn more Tagalog together. It was just us foreign kids in a different classroom, and another student turned to me and asked me, "What does mean?" I knew it was a bad word, but I didn't know exactly what it meant. I turned to my teacher to see if she had overheard, and I just remember her looking shocked. She stood up and asked questions like, "Where did you learn that word? Who said that to you? What else did they say to you?" It turns out the regular students were calling my classmates bad words. We learned that most of us were actually being bullied or talked down to, and we just didn't know it. From what I heard, our teachers did try to protect us and address it with the regular students and their teachers, but everyone knows that the adults don't really have any control over bullying. In the end, our teacher had an off-the-record talk with us, telling us what certain curse words meant and other racial slurs, and they told us to let them know if anyone else tried to bully us again. Most of the students in my high school were pretty good at English anyways and would make an effort to speak with us in English. I had a friend in regular classes who even let me help her study for a Tagalog test using flashcards she made. I'm sure I know this one. Can you give me a hint? Boat. What? Boat. The story takes place in the farmer's field. How could there even be a boat? Huh? The card says boat. That's impossible. Let me see that. My friend thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and hey, at least it helped her remember. College was an entirely different story. I knew that learning the language was the first step in building relationships with brand new people. I couldn't build anything with anyone if I couldn't talk to them. I studied a lot the summer before college, stuff that I mostly copied from watching my classmates. Learning new languages was always a means to build relationships with even more people. I even practiced conversations in the mirror. Doon ako pinanganak sa States. Doon ako pinanganak sa States, pero dito ako nag-aaral para sa college. And I'd let people know that, don't worry, nakakaintindi naman ako for the most part. I know I can do this. I'm so excited to make new friends. A lot of them didn't believe me when I said that I could understand Tagalog because I'd still hear them talking badly about me, even right in front of me. Even though I knew that they were wrong, there's so many of them, and only one of me. It was some of the most intense bullying I'd ever experienced. Oh gosh, can you guys help me? Sorry, I don't speak English. But guys, I just need... But I was so excited to make new friends. I even practiced. I was only 15 when I started college, and there was nothing I wanted more as a teenager than to be accepted by my peers. Part of me still understands that these people were just really young, too. But it still hurt extra bad because I'd see all of these YouTubers and other travelers talk online about how accepting and kind Filipinos were to foreigners. But so far, I'd seen none of it. I'd watched my other foreigner classmates be bullied and scammed and hurt, and I'd experienced it myself. They weren't accepting of people who were different from them, and I just refused to believe that I was so different from them. People always told me that Filipinos were great at English. The movies in the mall were all in English. Road signs and posters were all in English. There's even a law stating that all schools are required to teach both Tagalog and English. All of our classes were taught in English. I watched my classmates speak respectfully to our professors in English. They just didn't like me in specific. My family in particular were always furious at me for not learning Tagalog fast enough or making enough friends who could speak Tagalog. I feel like I repeat the phrase a lot because it didn't seem like anyone understood me, but I could understand most Tagalog. I understood all the horrible things they said about me, and I understood all of the horrible things they'd say about all my other relatives and loved ones. Learning new languages was always a means to build relationships with even more people. Even if I could speak Tagalog, I wouldn't want to talk to you. I wouldn't want to build a relationship with someone like you. The next school year, I changed my schedule to avoid the mean students. I tried to not let on to my new classmates that I couldn't speak that much Tagalog. I even tried speaking to them in straight Tagalog, even if I stuttered a lot and my pronunciation was really bad. They obviously figured it out, but most of them never even mentioned it. They'd smile and encourage me, and they helped me laugh at my own mistakes. Hey, can I borrow salamin? You're so cute, but no be, that's a really good try though. My favorite one. Sir, I'm learning more Tagalog every day. I'm listening to my classmates and repeating what they say. Oh, sige nga, Miss English. What do you hear your classmates say? We didn't teach her that, we swear. Sir, believe us, we didn't teach her that. I kept learning more Tagalog simply from just being in the Philippines. The most helpful way that I learned was from music. There were catchy lyrics that I would end up repeating, and mostly because they just sounded good to me. One of our professors would sometimes play music while we worked, and sometimes I learned some of the lyrics to the songs. Kalimutan mo na yan, sige mag... Sir, turn that off. You're teaching her to give up on love. Oh my god, what was I singing? I did eventually learn the meanings of the songs I was singing, but they were mostly good practice to learn how to pronounce things properly. Learning more Tagalog actually gave me more freedom. I could ask for directions without sounding like a tourist, and I managed to go to different places by myself. Although I admit I used the "sorry, I don't speak Tagalog" card when a traffic enforcer tried to talk to me. I also made use of the "nobody believes that I can understand Tagalog" thing because people would air all of their business in front of me because they thought I couldn't understand them. And I think it contributed to me just being a gigantic gossip. In my last year of college, we had to put on a play for our Psikolohiyang Pilipino or Filipino psychology class. And in this class were the same few people who were mean to me that bullied me my first year. My group gave me one line of Tagalog to present, where I just had to read off a piece of paper in Tagalog. I read it out, and I just remember seeing the few people who were mean to me looking shocked. And it just felt kind of good that maybe finally now they believed me that I could understand what they were saying. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle with Tagalog a lot.
I left the Philippines a few years ago, and I was sitting at the gate at the airport on my phone with my lolo. I was just letting him know that I was at the airport now to go back to the US, and I just had this flashback of being a little kid and being unable to speak with him. But now I could. Something about it made me bawl. I said over and over that learning new languages was always a means to build relationships with even more people. I thought more about my grandfather, who loved me even before I could speak Tagalog. I thought about my lola, who put in the work and effort needed to pass down the skill of the language to me. I had friends who made an effort to connect with me, regardless of what language we used. I had friends where our main connection was through art and pictures instead of words. I'm learning deeper vocabulary in Tagalog now as I study more on Psikolohiyang Filipino as I plan to use it for work someday. I hope that it'll be a useful skill as I get to use it to help other people.